Okay, we're good? Item number 6, I was informed by Mr. Cooper that the generator located at the Bay City Work Camp would not be a cost benefit for the new construction project. However, there has been some local interest in purchasing the generator. Board action to advertise for sealed bids for the purchase of the generator. This sale would be with no warranty, liability, or responsibility for moving the generator on behalf of the county. I will ask for Attorney Schuler's assistance with the advertisement. Commissioner, it's gonna take 90 days to get up with an auction company for them to do an inventory of all our stuff. And so rather than wait that long to put this generator as part of that auction, if we have people who are interested in it, let's see what, it's sealed bids. Let's see what they say, how much they're offering. If they're gonna pick it up and move it and get it off our dime, our responsibility, I'd like us to consider that.
Do you need a motion to do that?
I do.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Did you go to the hospital board meeting?
Yes, I did. You
Okay.
want me to report on that now, or we do it after the,
Well, you can do it after.
okay. At the last meeting, the board asked that I research the cost of iPads with bigger screens. The cost of those iPads, which is 12.9, basically a 13-inch iPad, are $829 apiece. The cost of these iPads will be offset by selling all the older iPads we have in inventory through the auction company. Board action to approve the purchase of the 13-inch iPad.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Item number 8, inform the board that the annual Florida Association of Counties Calendar Photo Contest has begun. The theme of this year's contest is Florida Flora and Fauna. It is an opportunity to showcase the amazing plants and animals that make our county and the state one of the most beautiful places in the world. I've contacted TDC to see if they would be interested in reviewing and selecting the photos for submission. I don't really need board action, but I want to make sure you guys are comfortable with, to me, any free publicity is good publicity. And I talked to Kurt, and he agrees. And so we would have everyone, he would do the ad, he's going to discuss it with the TDC board at their next meeting. He would basically do the ad, telling everyone, how the pictures, I think there's a limit as to how many pixels the pictures can be, but there's no limit as to how many pictures you can submit. So TDC would get all the pictures, get a bunch, bring it to this board and say, okay, this is our packet. This is what we would like to submit to FAC, and hopefully we can get one page in that calendar. I just think it's a good thing. I just want to make sure you guys agree with it. Not necessarily a motion, it's just a nod to say, it's a good thing, and let's let TDC move on with it. I'm sorry, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to suggest that you get, when you're talking to Kurt, have them go to the Botanical Gardens down here by the Free Serviceman statue, which is a bunch of different plants that
Yes.
is what the whole garden is about. I'm not saying that's the photo we should use. I'd just like to have that included.
Okay.
Because it's maintained by the state park system down here that takes care of the Free Serviceman statue. They also keep up the Botanical Garden
Yes,
that has a bunch of different species in there.
Yes.
Might get a good photograph out of that.
Okay.
I know a lot of people's yards are very well decorated. I mean,
Yeah.
there'll probably be photos from all over. I just want to get that included.
yes.
So there may be a potential photo in there that would be nice to put on there.
Okay. Commissioner Sanders, as you go to TDC, you can explain to them that, something the board thinks is a good idea too, if you could. Thank you very much.
They can get my neighbors, that's pretty.
Okay. Item number 9, board action to approve the use of SHIP funds, revenue funds, for SHIP administrative expenses. These funds will be reimbursed once the state releases the SHIP $350,000 allocation to the county. Last time Lori got you guys to allocate money for the programs, but not for administrative costs. So what we're doing is using revenue, and the revenue is basically some of the loans that are paid back. Sometimes when we ship properties, sell, there are different things that revenue comes back into the program, and Lori can actually take 10% of that for admin funds. So we're just asking for board action to approve that, but they'll put that revenue right back in when the 350 comes. As we all know, the state is really slow this year about sending their allocations out.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Board action to authorize the chairman's signature on the Franklin County CDBG procurement policy. This document has been reviewed and edited by Ms. Deborah Belcher and Attorney Schuler. A copy is attached to your packet. This is the same document that Ms. Belcher discussed with you at, was it the last meeting, Deborah?
Last meeting.
And you know, there were the different fees. You guys did not like the oral agreement. I think all that's been removed. I believe Attorney Schuler had a chance to review the document. So,
Mr. Sheila, what's
Yes,
your
ma'am.
thoughts on it?
It does change the current policy that you have in place for your non-CDBG purchasing, but it is also a requirement of the new federal super circular that some of your other staff members talked to you about over the course of the last several months. So I think in order to be in compliance with that super circular for the use of the federal funds for CDBG, you are creating this new purchasing policy only as to CDBG. I know that Deborah is here. She can give you the particulars on that, but essentially, anything that's $25,000 and above is required to be bid, and I forget the exact term, it has to be bid in like a regional newspaper as well as a local newspaper. Anything below that, that is, I think, above $3,000 and below $25,000, it may be bid, but we're telling you that the invulnerable policy is that it will all be bid between $3,000 and $5,000 in the local newspaper and require a written bid. There is an allowance for anything that's up to a $3,000 purchase that would be an oral, you need to get on the phone and call. I did check with our finance department. I've talked to Ms. Belcher, and that is an accepted policy under the new federal super circular for any purchases that are less than $3,000. So it is something new. It is a little bit different, but it is a requirement of the new federal super circular, so I would recommend approval.
And the other thing is, 10,000 or above, you still have to approve it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
item number 11, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a resolution listing Mr. Gary Millender and I for certain position as it relates to the Florida Department of Transportation's local agency program. Mr. Gary Millender and I are replacing Mr. Pierce and Mr. Robin Brinkley in these positions. There's a disadvantaged business enterprise liaison officer, Title VI officer, equal employment opportunity and affirmative action officer, and Mr. Millender will be the Americans with Disability Act coordinator.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 12, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on the county's Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and non-discrimination policy and plan. The new version replaces Mr. Pierce's name with my name as the Title VI non-discrimination coordinator and replaces Mr. Brinkley's name with Mr. Gary Miller's as the county's ADA officer. I've included a copy of that in your packet also.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Also in your agenda packet is a copy of the Title VI, Section 504 ADA self-evaluation and statement of compliance for the Annex Courthouse. No action is needed, but it is required that I present this document to the board at a public meeting, so it's part of the official records.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 14, the board, inform the board that the finance office would like to schedule an end-of-the-year meeting that would allow for the payment of invoices for the current fiscal year, in the end of this fiscal year. This meeting would be held on September 30th, which is Friday at 9 a.m. Are there any scheduled conflicts? In addition to that, the budget public hearings are scheduled for September 6th and 19th, both at 5:15 p.m. So if there are any conflicts, let me know as soon as possible so I can get with the clerk's office and we would have trying to figure out a new date for that end-of-the-year meeting. It doesn't take long. It's maybe 15 minutes if that long. They present a bill list, end of the year, you guys approve it, and that's it. That's all we discuss.
You need a motion?
No, I just need to know if any of you have any scheduled conflicts, just let me know. We change it to maybe the Thursday or something if we have to. We can? Oh, so it has to be the last day, so, yeah.
That'd be much
Yes.
better.
Gotta be done.
Okay,
I had
take it back.
I had a question, Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
sir.
for the clerk. Bills are not paid in the next fiscal year out of this fiscal year? Is that what we're doing now?
There may be some that come in after that point, but then they have to do,
some bookkeeping things, but they try to do everything that they can
Yeah.
on that day.
And we would have a figure at that time if anyone had not spent their allocated,
I don't think so.
when,
Not on September 30th.
when is that?
I think that, you know, you have up until sometime in October to actually close out your books. But we try to get all the bills we're gonna pay, you know.
Do we normally have funds unspent at the end of the year?
You will. You'll have some return from constitutional and just some of the departments. And part of that's used in the figure that Linda and Aaron give us cash carried forward during the budget process. They try to estimate based on prior years. They'll have an amount estimated.
Okay, I'll get with them, thanks.
Speaking of that, Commissioner, before I move on, going back, Ginger, going back to the sheriff's budget, that 145 for the inmate medical, there is an agreement that whatever they don't spend for that 145 inmate, it will roll right back to the county, so then we could use it for the following year. That's something I failed to mention, and so when Commissioner here just asked about money returning, I just want to let the board know that. That was part of the agreement in negotiating with the Sheriff's Department and their budget. Item 15, during the July 19th budget workshop, the board consolidated the 3 senior services fund line items into one and redirected those funds to Area Agency on Aging. Area Agency on Aging will allocate these funds to agencies who are interested in providing direct services to the county's seniors, especially those that are homebound, provided they meet the requirements of the agency. Board action to confirm this budget change. It's such a big, for years we've been doing it another way. I just wanted board action so that we're making a major change here in the way
Yeah,
we
so
deal with
moved.
that.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Have you had any comments on that?
Actually, the city of Appalachia called me, and they just wanted to make sure that there was an avenue for them to get money. I said, yes, it is, you know. And I talked to Lisa about it. She said, yeah, they just get with us. We have an agreement, and we will fund them based on the space that they give us to use. So, yeah.
All the services that they're offering to provide.
Yes, or if they want to do additional, so yes,
Right.
Commissioner, if they want to do additional services, the money is there to do it, you know. We
And
just-
that's what it was all about. It was all about taking care of senior center services, Meals on Wheels,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So
And like I said,
I'm glad.
like you said, you know, they can probably, doing it this way, we leverage state funds for more like the senior centers, the centers, and expenses for the centers, and the funds that you guys send will go more directly to homebound seniors,
The
you know,
services.
for services, and that's what we wanted. We already addressed 16 and 17, and finally, is with a sad note that I inform the board of the passing of fellow Commissioner Frank Meeker of Flagler County. You may have had conversations with Commissioner Meeker as recently as during the last FAC conference in June, especially during any of the small county coalition meetings. Services were held on Saturday, July 30th, at Parkview Baptist Church in Palm Coast, Florida.
And I'd like for us to write a letter to Mr. Ken LaPaz over in Carabel at the Hog Wild. Last week, he cooked up that breakfast for the first responders and the bicyclers that rode through.
Brotherhood Riders.
Brotherhood Riders.
Yes.
He cooked evening dinner for them, and as well, he cooked breakfast for them that morning. Mr. Watson, we was there, we served, and Commissioner Sanders, we served for him. It was a good turnout, and he done a very good job.
Okay.
I make a motion that we write a resolution of appreciation to Mr. Ken LaPaz for all of his work that he does supporting the communities around the county and for what he did with the Brotherhood Riders.
I'll second that.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that was a fabulous event.
Oh, yeah,
The people in
it was
Carabel
nice.
really turned out, and I think that the bikers.
There was a
really
lot of
appreciate-
bow-legged bicyclers. They couldn't hardly walk. Had rode from Naples, Florida, all the way to Carabel. They rode from Perry that morning. 4 hours, they had traveled 90 miles on bicycles to get to Carabel. They took IVs, they had them, they done a good job.
And one important thing, though, they rode for 2 of our fallen law officers that were in the county. They rode for
I think one was Quinn.
Officer, John Patton and Fred Bath.
Yeah, Fred Babs.
And So they wrote for them in Franklin County, so I thought that was pretty neat, you know.
Fantastic.
But the one thing, they said that their destination was Fort Walton, over there at Fort Walton Beach, and I told them, I said, good luck going up Brooks Bridge. That is an awful mess over there. But I saw the picture where Northwest Daily News took a picture of them, and they were coming up the bridge, so they made it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Ashley T, I'd say personally, thank y'all for that, Mr. Kim Lopez. Besides that, Mr. Lopez and Miss Linda also consider his wife, Miss Linda. If there's a death in the county, from Alligator Point to Apalachicola, they step up for our family. Also, for the local schools, they do a lot. Personally, I think, I got no idea how I propose. I just thought about it a while ago. Our fallen heroes. Let's set aside a monument somewhere in our county to recognize them. The new Lales Park, that might be a good location for the families to come and observe that. Because in my career, I lost 5 brothers and sisters in firefighting in over 23 years. They'll be very special. On September 11th, we lost 343 firefighters. I appreciate y'all considering that also.
I make a motion, we do that for the fallen firefighters, for the fallen veterans, for the fallen, police officers.
You recognize them.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I have a motion,
Put
a
up,
second.
let's put up some, Nathan at Lales Park. That's a good place.
Yeah, good place.
Well, okay.
Have a
If we
motion.
can do it, I mean, if we.
You can do it.
Good
Plenty
luck.
of room there. I have a motion, a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Like the other.
That's in, I'm sorry, that's in my
About the
report.
hospital.
Oh, the hospital, okay, I attended the hospital report on Thursday last week. Let me hit let me look at Mike's report and hit you guys with the highlights, basically. Let's see here, I do apologize for going through, get my notes and get Mike's report. So basically, Mike informed the board that they still had not received their meaningful use money, which should be about $350,000. And they were still having issues with the LIP funding, getting the LIP funding. They don't expect that until October sometime. So that will create a cash flow. But by the same token, they had just transferred the general ledger to the new software. And of course, there were glitches like they always are with dealing with a new software. So John had no financial reports. He will send you guys a report at the end of this week on Friday as to the cash flow and what they have, any issues that they might have out there. Again, like I said to you, he's not here today because there's no new information regarding the building plans in any way. He's hoping ACA approves the plans and then they can move towards getting that they can present to this board, that the contractor will say he'll guarantee this price, and we could move forward with that project. Going back to the meaningful use, not having that, they do have a cash infusion problem because of that. He said because they can't get those funds, nor the LIP dish funds, that's costing them about $125,000 per month that they are running short. And so, again, John will have a report for you guys by Friday as to how long they think that will continue and, how it will change. So, let me see here. Again, with the management agreement, there's been no progress there. They think TMH and the third party will be meeting soon, and hopefully they'll have more information by the second meeting, your second meeting in August 16th, to present to this board to discuss the management and what they think it's going to be like. I did ask Mike at the meeting, is it another layer of management, or is this company going to be providing assistance to them? He doesn't think so. Mike thinks what's going to end up happening is either TMH will approach the board to probably lease the hospital and take over management, or some hybrid of the two companies together will do the same thing, come to the board and have some sort of lease agreement, for the hospital, which will relieve the county commission of having to manage the hospital, and they will fall in that company. But, Mike will have more details on that on August 16th. And he did express in his report that the performance, he did not like the performance of the clinics, and he was meeting with the doctor and the nurse practitioner during this week time to kind of find out why the numbers are where they are, what the problems are, and how they could, provide better service and get better numbers out there. And again, hopefully, he will be discussing that with the board at August 16th meeting.
The clinic in Carabel you're talking about?
Both clinics. He said he didn't like the numbers at both clinics.
Well, they refused to even see the lady in Carabel. The doctor's there, nobody's even wanting to go see her. The one they got in
Dr.
Carabel.
Stahl?
Yeah, the lady that just
Yeah.
come from New York, they just flat refusing to go see her.
Well, he said he was gonna meet with them, so I'm sure he have a report for the board.
Yeah, he'll have one on because they just refusing to see her because she won't write their blood pressure medicines or nothing. She's not wrote none of them. She's changed them all up. It's a mess. Me and Cheryl's been getting calls from Mr. Sanders for every day, probably 10 to 15 a day from out there with that.
Well, I'll forward your concerns to Mike and let him know
Yeah.
that, that some of the Carabel clients are having issues with the clinic out there. And I think that's pretty much about it that I can tell you. It's kind of a quick synopsis, but,
Yeah.
I mean, anything in particular?
Any of that, y'all got anything?
The only thing I want to say is the hospital board and Mr. Cooper aware that when they do reappointments to the board of directors, that they're supposed to bring it back to this board for approval? Are they aware of that?
I don't know, but
That's what's happened in the past.
I can ask as to,
That's something that you need to do because, I know, I just reappointed a person back in 2013 that her term, I think,
yeah.
goes out this year, I think, maybe.
Because
But, I mean, we have always in the past, as far as just like a ratification or whatever, have always ratified the board of directors approval of members of the board of directors. I mean, well, we've always done it. They've always came back and said, this is that, because it's this board that puts the board of directors in there.
Yes, there are 5 members and then there are 2 at large. If I remember, and this is me going off the minutes, when I did the minutes, I think that's what makes up the board.
Well, and then you have the medical person, the
Medical
doctor.
director.
Dr. Conrad,
Yeah, the
I
doctor.
think he's a non-voting member, though.
He's a non-voting member.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah, but
I
they're
think that's what
supposed to
makes
come
it the
back.
board.
As people's terms expire, they should bring them back here.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's what
And
they're supposed to
The,
do.
the individual commissioners can reappoint, or they may have somebody else in line that.
Right.
that-
Yeah, because we had to appoint them to put them there.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to, and so, I mean, they just don't, I mean, the board of directors don't vote on that themselves. It has to come back to the Board of County
okay,
Commissioners.
I'll make sure they know that.
And there's several other things that comes back, but I would rather keep it kind of calm right here today on it until we can get Mr. Cooper back here and all that, because there's a lot of questions in my mind what we've got to do. And I don't know if the commissioners saw the article that we were sent by governing, but there's an article in here and it's called, with hospitals, let me see what it is, what the name of it is, and I'm gonna just leave it with y'all. With hospitals in critical condition, can rural America survive? And it's a very informative piece about critical access hospitals. And they said over the next 2 years that the majority of your critical access hospitals will have to close their doors. And it's because of Medicaid issues, ACA issues, and I mean, it's telling you right here. So, commissioners, if y'all want some good information, get this article that was sent to your iPad by governing, and it tells you. So, I mean, it says that it's not a fee-based hospital, a fee-for-service model, and said that it's not working. It's not working. So, anyway, read that article, and when Mr. Cooper gets back here, we got some questions to ask.
Yeah, it was on the news last night that the little bird probably November or 1st of December, if they even get paid then.
The lip money?
Yep, the lip. Said that if they even get it in December, be lucky, it'd probably be after the first of the year if they get it.
Mr. Cooper was hoping for October sometime.
And
That's what
according
he
to the
reported.
news last night, it'd probably be after the first of the year.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could
Yes,
make
sir.
a comment. That's why I think it's so important to proceed with the discussions with TNH. Because obviously the cash flow at the hospital is an ongoing issue.
Yes, yeah, 'cause I mean, we down to now, if they have to come back and borrow, we're gonna have to go into the next step, you know?
What I'll do, I'll forward Mr. Cooper's report from the Board of Directors report to each of you commissioners.
Okay.
And whatever they had in there, so that, in case you have any questions, you let me know, I'll get with Mr. Cooper.
Maybe I guess we need to, let's meet with the hospital board. I make a motion.
The Board of Directors of the hospital, like in a workshop setting?
Yeah.
Okay.